What's up guys? Today I want to talk about all the different ways that I like to use loose powders, and specifically the Moonplay stroboscope powders. I recently mentioned these and the shade Dolly Sand in my last monthly favorites. What was that? My August monthly favorites. And I mentioned liking to use it to set my face makeup, which is kind of unusual because this powder is basically a bronzy base with a slight green shift to it. Like, it's very strange. I don't know what compelled me to try it, but I am addicted to the glow it now gives my skin. The nice thing about these powders though is that so many of them are multi-use. You can not only use them on the face, but also the eyes, your lips, your body, things like that. So I wanted to run through the 4 ways that I like to use these, as well as swatch all of the shades that I have so you can see how versatile they are. And maybe this, not that you need these in particular, but maybe it gives you some ideas for how you can use the pigments you already have in your collection, because sometimes I need some ideas for how I can incorporate them easily back into my makeup routine. So let's go ahead and dive in. Like I said, these are the Moonplay stroboscope powders. They're really different because they're kind of in between a loose, translucent face setting powder, like the texture is that of a facial setting powder, but the pigmentation in these is closer to like an eyeshadow, a loose pigment eyeshadow that you might find. The pigmentation isn't quite as intense across the board, but you can definitely play with it. I'm going to show you how the difference between playing with some of these wet versus dry, or dry versus wet if you really want to intensify the pigment. And the shades that I have, I think these are all of the shades that they make, but I have Dolly Sand, which like I said is that bronze base with a beautiful greeny shift. Then there is Lady Goldfish, which has this beautiful peachy pink base with a then yellow green sort of shift to it. Then there is NYC Vamp, which is this beautiful ultra soft icy white pink base that then has a surprising but delicate blue shift to it. And then last up is the shade Vow. And of all the powders I'm going to talk about, Vow has the chunkier sparkle to it. It's a soft pink base with then a soft light baby pink shimmer to it. I wouldn't call it outright sparkle, but they are larger chunks. And of the 3 of these, I would say that in terms of a highlighter, the Vow gives you more of a wet, glossy look to it, especially when you layer it up. So the first way you could wear these is mixed in with a moisturizer, either with the moisturizer you wear on your face or on your body, which is how I'm wearing them today. I have mixed Dolly Sand in with a body moisturizer on the left side of my body, your right, I think, and I just rubbed that in my shoulders and along my clavicle, and it bronzed me up a little bit and then gave me that beautiful greeny kind of glow highlight, so you could just see that structure a little bit better. And then on the other side, I wanted to show you how Lady Goldfish looked. So that is what I'm wearing over here. I feel like it brightens things up a little bit because it has that pink base as opposed to the bronze. So all these shades I think would work. It just depends on the look you're after, the undertone of your skin, what you think is going to be most flattering for you. You can also definitely wear these on your legs as well. I know, at least in the Northern Hemisphere anyway, we're moving out of summer and into fall, but if like me, you live somewhere warmer where summer technically bleeds into fall, sometimes into October, early November, so you could find yourself wearing skirts without tights and shorts and stuff like that. You can totally wear these on your legs as well, just to give your legs a glow, even out the pigmentation a little bit. If like me, you constantly have bruises on your legs that you don't know where they came from, these could kind of help with that. They certainly don't cover anything up unless you use a ton of pigment in there. It's not going to act like a foundation, but it will definitely give your skin a beautiful glow. The next way to use these is on your face. And you can do one of 2, or I guess even both ways if you really want a big time glow. You can apply them under your foundation. Today I used Dolly Sand on one side of my face so you could see how my foundation laid and looked after I applied it over the top of using Dolly Sand as a base. The foundation that I'm using, by the way, is the Lancome Teint Idole Ultra Wear. This is pretty full coverage, but it's specifically matte. I wanted to show you how this could kind of transform the finish of a matte foundation so you could see the kind of glow that goes through, but know that the intensity of your glow is going to vary depending on how much of this you apply under your foundation and how light the coverage is of the foundation you're applying over top, as well as the finish. If it's naturally kind of a dewy finish, you're going to see a lot more glow as opposed to something like a matte. The other alternative is you can apply it over top, and like I mentioned at the very beginning of this video, that's how I've really come to love using this, because while I do like the subtle glow that you get from applying it under your foundation, when you apply it over the top, you just get this beautiful, like, airbrushed soft focus looking effect to your skin. It's like such a beautiful glow. I can't even explain it. You don't see a weird green tinge to it, even though that is the, undertone to this powder. It just looks amazing. And bonus, if you have any redness, if you tend to have more redness on your face, the green in here is going to help cancel that out, which is awesome too. By the way, the brush I'm using to apply this to my face is just a big fluffy powder brush. It's relatively dense, but I make sure to really diffuse the product and work it into the brush, just using the inside of the cap here, just to make sure I'm not getting one big concentration of powder in any one part of my face. Just a big powder brush like this. It's the Real Techniques. It's from their new, I have a review of this. I'll just link to it because I can't remember what the collection is called, but it's the O3 brush. Then the next way I like to use these is on the eyes. And again, a couple of ways you can choose to wear these as well. The first is dry. You can see when I apply this dry to my eye, it applies very soft, kind of like it looks on my face, but because I'm using a more dense brush, again, it's a Real Techniques, I think. Like the original, the base shadow brush is what I'm using to apply that dry. It just looks like this soft hint of duochromatic pigment across the lid. Softly shimmery, very brightening, just a little hint of something. And it looks like you did more work than you did because that multi-chrome component, like it looks like you're wearing more than one shadow, which I always love. So dry is definitely one option, or you could foil these, apply them wet with your favorite mixing medium. The one that I use here and that I've really been loving lately is the Esam Pro mixing medium, because this is, once it dries down, it is totally budge proof. But you can see in mixing it with something else, it becomes metallic, and you can obviously dial up the level of pigmented intensity with the amount of powder that you mix in with your medium. But the bottom line is that these can get ultra metallic. And using them wet also really brings out that shift, so I think you can see that green a whole lot more as the pigment intensified with Dolly Sand. You'll find the same thing, I think, with Lady Goldfish and especially NYC Vamp. That blue shift is really gonna come through. Oh, I totally forgot the other way that you can use these on your face. Duh, as a highlighter. So on the one side here, I just took, what brush was it? It's a Delium. I really like this one for highlighting, the 787 from Delium. It's like big enough to, really make quick work of highlighting, but still fluffy enough to really distribute the pigment in a nice, flattering kind of way. And on the left side, I have applied Dolly Sand, just so you could kind of see how versatile this one shade is across the face. And then over here on my right side, I did go in with NYC Vamp, so you could really see how that blue shift kind of comes out. But I wouldn't say it's not overwhelmingly blue. Don't expect this to like totally transform your makeup look into something that's not wearable. You can layer it up to dial up the blue, or just apply it very softly for more of a frosty, romantic pink sort of vibe in your makeup look. The one that does get really intense as a highlight, however, is Vow. Like I said, because it has that more intense shimmer to it, it looks, it gives you that dewy, wet glow look. It's beautiful. Okay, and last up, the last way I like to wear these is on the lips. You can mix it in with any gloss you have, a clear gloss, and you can basically create your own frosty, shimmery sort of gloss, or you can mix it in with existing glosses over your lipstick, which is how I'm wearing it today, just for a really subtle, transformative finish to the lips. So on my lips, I'm wearing a red lipstick because I figured the red would contrast really nicely with the green everywhere else on my face and kind of make both pop. The red is from Tom Ford. This is number 30. It's the Lip Color Matte, number 37 in Best Revenge. And over top, as you could probably guess, I applied Dolly Sand. You can see it just mattifies it a little bit. Even though this is already a matte finish, I would say this is not the most matte lipstick I own. So it mattified it even more and yet gave it that subtle, very slightly metallic-y green sheen to it, adding a pop of highlight in the center of my lips, which can make your lips look more full as well. Just, it can really transform any lip shade you have going, as well as mattify it. That's one thing, unless you're mixing it in with a gloss. If you put this over and layer it over a lip shade, it will mattify it a little bit and give it like a soft matte metal finish, which is really pretty. So those are all the ways that I like to use pigments, and specifically those from Moonplay, because like I said, these are unique in how they walk that line between loose facial powder and loose pigment. If you have a really pigmented eyeshadow, you might be less flexible unless you're comfortable wearing those kinds of shades on your face, but that's why I wanted to share these today, because not only can you use them everywhere, but they're actually formulated to look really good and flattering everywhere. So I hope this video was helpful. I hope it maybe inspired you if you have some pigment sitting around that you just really are itching to get back into but aren't quite sure or inspired how to. Hopefully this helped you. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye guys!